6 a.m. news headlines, we'll have another news update at the top of the hour, right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Good Tuesday morning. Oh yes, July is here, my friends. It is Tuesday, the 1st of July, July 1st, 2025, and we are ready to go. Jason Williams on this brand new day and brand new month. It is action-packed and lots of, I would say, excitement ahead, especially for the youngsters. Their vacation will start officially next week. SCA results will be released on Thursday, and let the games begin. A chance for them to relax and unwind in this July-August vacation. My friends, it's, well, as always, very much a serious one this morning. A couple of major talking points as we go through the news cycle. And as always, some impactful interviews ahead. The focus on technology, also health and wellness inside the second hour. And inside the first hour, we will have Dr. Shane Mohammed, political scientist, to unpack what's happening via our front page. We're seeing here where the former Prime Minister loses the pension benefits as independent help passes. Well, they help pass the bill. That story on page 6 and 7. That's been a major talking point for the last couple of days. There are many who are suggesting, listen, right move. You know, we look at the particular structure and standard with certain jobs within the public service. There's a particular requirement on the years of tenure before any kind of benefits are forthcoming. And in his particular case, the former Prime Minister, Stuart Young, SC, becoming Prime Minister, serving for just over a month thereabout. Well, I mean, obviously he would have called this new cabinet, then called elections very early. And then, well, the nation gave their particular judgment on the 28th. And post-April 28th, he did not, he did not continue as Prime Minister. But indeed, based on the structure, the benefits will go forth. Well, that might not be the case. And we'll get a chance to unpack that development. Again, you know, it's one of those, I don't even want to say circular arguments, because I find when I talk to lots of different people, many are leaning towards the particular judgment that was passed. Of course, there are those who also see this as political vindictiveness and wickedness. And, you know, as everything else, everyone is indeed entitled to their opinion. But as it pertains to this matter, the decision by the lawmakers, those within the upper and lower house, they have put forward their argument. And we'll get a perspective, a deeper perspective, from Dr. Shane Mohammed later on this morning. Another development that is very much a major talking point, and this is dominating many a discussion in the taxis, maxis, and in the workplace, the scenario at CPEP. As The Guardian says this morning, CPEP betrayal, fired workers dazed, scared, and NATUC. They are giving a mandate to the government to absorb them during the restructuring. You're seeing some footage there yesterday, and that's a dismal and dejected worker. His name is Visham Maharaj, actually, in the green. He's visiting the head office to seek some answers. That's Crow. Well, you know Crow. That's it for Crow. It's a wrap. I know he's been a CPEP contractor for quite a while. You know, Calypsonian, a man who would have, for years, sang against the government. And I know there are many, as much as Crow is beloved and one of the stalwarts of the Calypso genre. His scathing lyrics and sharp commentary. With that comes, let's be real, enemies. There are people who not on Crow at all. And Krokro, he's been a CPEP contractor for a long time. So if indeed his contract remains, I mean, I will be rather surprised. I mean, I don't want to see anybody out of a job. I echo the call of Dr. Indira yesterday, who, being a trade unionist, well, I'm not a trade unionist, but indeed I respect what the trade unionists bring to the table. And if it's one thing I know they try to do is secure jobs and secure people's tenure and negotiate for better wages and better conditions. And in that regard, I want to head across to an audio clip. We have some perspective and some commentary this morning from the NATUC General Secretary, Michael Anisette, who actually was on set with me, I believe, last week. So I want to take you across to Mr. Anisette, giving some perspective on this situation with CPEP that is indeed dominating lots of the news cycle and the national discourse. Let's head across to Mr. Anisette.
Pleasant morning to all. The National Trade Union Movement, NATUC, we have been inundated with a lot of calls coming from the affected workers, which is the CPEP workers who contracts were terminated, and therefore their jobs are in limbo. And there is this fear by these affected workers, given the fact that most are single parents and most are the more vulnerable people within our society. And it is in that context that we in the National Trade Union Movement would have expressed a view that there is a need for the government to ensure that they are absorbed within the workforce by the government, and more importantly, that we start to use the CPEP concept in a different way, a concept where we will build more skilled workers, where they will be more productive within the society, where they will become independent and truly integrated into our society. That is the concept of the National Trade Union Center. And therefore, we are calling on the government to take a look at that concept in terms of the people-centered and worker-centered economic approach. And I'm sure that the government will understand where the National Trade Union is coming from. We have no issues with addressing the corruption as has been outlaid by the government. But we are saying that workers must not be used as scapegoats or must not suffer irreparable economic damages because of the corrupt practices that was revealed coming out of the awards and giving of contracts to friends within the past regime. That is something that we condemn. We believe that we must have a society where the broader society and the people in the society benefits.
Indeed, we got some perspective there from Mr. Anisette, indeed giving a mandate that speaks to the way a system should work, what is ideal on paper, but in theory and in real practice, CPEP has been a political football used by both sides of the political divide with the intention to leverage and gather votes and to, let's be real. I mean, we keep it really on the program. You know, we're not speaking here any kind of fiction or fantasy. Obviously, folks who support you, especially those on the ground, they are given said CPEP contracts to give work within a space, and we have to be very careful in terms of the restructuring process because consideration must be given to certain areas, especially areas that might be considered volatile or a bit tense in terms of just the actual structure of a community, because the reality is we don't want to cause any more issues as it pertains to crime and what we see via intimidation. We live in a country where if I'm from Sawa, well, I'm from South originally, but I live Sawa now, and a contract, let's say, is given to someone from outside of the space, and not just saying this based on Sawa, this could happen in any area, Diego Martin, Couva, Point Fortin, for crying out loud. The consideration must be somebody within the space so that the food, as they say, goes around to people within the community, because there is the potential for intimidation and for folks not being able to work. We live in a country where sometimes utilities go to sort out a particular line or disconnect someone, and they have to go with heavy estate police with big gun. Sometimes TTPS needs to be on the scene when some of our utility workers go to do what should just be a normal job. That's the country we live in. So let's don't bury our heads in the sand. That's unfortunately a part of, I'm sure the consideration that must be given via the restructuring, because we don't want to put anybody in place or create any further issues as it pertains to intimidation and coward tax and people literally saying to you, well, your car work here, because men from the area not on the job. That's unfortunately the space that we live in this 2025 on this given day, the 1st of July. It's a Tuesday. Yeah, just to give a reminder. Again, we head to the back page. Again, this CPEP conversation will come up later on, so feel free. Give me your perspective. It's not a one-man show. I will give my take, but your take is also full of value, and I look forward to hear your perspective when we open the lines later on. Tee-up already is the under-15 squad. That's right. I believe we are getting ready for the CONCACAF Championship League B. And Denzel Theobald, he was part of the Soca Warriors outfit that went to the World Cup in 2006. He's getting the charges ready for some action. Of course, it's tennis for the tennis lovers. So that's some action going on there in London. I understand it's extremely hot. I hear Europe right now, you know, normally we would be around 32, 33. Well, hey, brace yourself. Right now they're in the 40s, you know. Late 30s and 40s. When I tell you extreme heat in Greece, in Spain, in Italy, and out there in England. Also the FIFA Club World Cup. Some big games yesterday. Al Hilal defeating Manchester City and moving on. And Fluminense, a team out of Brazil, defeating mighty Inter Milan. So it's a very interesting tournament as they get down to the business end. Of course, the Gold Cup also in full swing. That should culminate this weekend. The finals, it's on Sunday. And tomorrow, the semifinals, USA, Guatemala at 7 p.m. and then Mexico, Honduras. I may go on to predict this could again be another USA-Mexico final. But then again, the way football playing these days, it's who really wants it on the day and who decides to show up. So we look forward. And by all means, kudos to, I think, we have a golf team out there in Barbados taking part in a golf tournament. So there is something for everyone. Check out the back page as we analyze the sport, you know, in this first month, well, this first day of July. It's going to be a real action-packed July and August of sporting activities. And oh gosh, don't talk for next year, World Cup. So brace yourself. Let's look at another beautiful picture captured by one of our photographers. This one is a thunderstorm right out there, offshore, torrential rainfall seen on the horizon from South Trunk Road on the Mosquito Creek. And this took place on Saturday. The photographer is Mariela Bruzol. And of course, brewing up innovation and inspiration, a story by our colleague Liana Maharaj, where a young man is doing his trade, dealing with you right down the road, but this time around it's coffee. What do you mean? A cup of coffee? You know, you can get your water, you can get your juice. I mean, you can get so many different things on the road. There are the different men and women too. I've seen some of our Venezuelan neighbors doing the plantain chips. It's a full parlor these days on the highway. I mean, you're in traffic, you're stuck, you can't go nowhere. So why not, right? It's something we have seen for a long time. But this man took it to a different level. For the coffee lovers, no need to run out anywhere. You get your coffee right there on the spot. So kudos to this young man. Theon Morales, owner of Brews on the Road. And he's located in the Trin City Central Road area as folks make their way to the highway. Wow, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's get ready. The first conversation, a very impactful one as always. Dr. Shane Mohammed, I'm going to go through some of the layers as we deal with this pension bill. We deal with the intimidation being put out there to the independent senators. And we saw Wade Mark yesterday laying down the law and saying that will not happen under his watch. I found that was a really good look and a rather great assessment from Wade Mark. But we have lots to discuss. Dr. Shane Mohammed, up next.
ChatGPT, I'm falling.
Failing grades? Contact Student Hub.
I ain't say failing, I say falling.
Then it's time to stop failing. Student Hub helps students succeed online. If school feels like a free fall, Student Hub helps you land on top.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
As promised, Dr. Shane Mohammed joins me on the Zoom line. Political scientist, always a pleasure to have you on the program. Dr. Mohammed, thank you for the time. And there is lots to unpack on this Tuesday, this 1st of July, 2025. Good morning, Shane. Great to see you.
Good morning. How are you?
All is well. You know, before we get into the pension amendment bill, I want to go to what Wade Mark described yesterday as intimidation and harassment. He says it will not be taken lightly, and that is in light of what transpired via the UNC's PRO on Sunday, really saying in no uncertain terms that the independent senators are not so independent after all, putting that claim in the public domain. And I saw Senate President taking serious issue with that and laying down the letter of the law. And I found, I mean, you know, people might have their issues with Wade Mark, but I've seen him in operation. I've had many interaction with him when I was in the Senate. And I must say, I think he was spot on in that regard, and I actually was rather, I won't say surprised, but I was impressed with his particular stance on the issue. Well, what's your perspective?
Well, you know, it is what is expected. Wade Mark is no longer Senator Wade Mark, and he's no longer the leader of the opposition in the Senate. And when you elevate, you are elevated to the presidency of the Senate, and by extension, the vice presidency of the country, because that's in essence what the role is. One has to understand it takes a very mature, a very clinical, a very astute politician to be able to understand the levels at which one has graduated, the levels at which one is expected to operate. And he's no longer while he is the Senate president, he has that tie-breaking vote, which we've seen happen in the last couple of sittings of the Senate. He's also at a different level of the politics. He is required to establish certain protocols and make it very clear that his office as Senate president is at a higher level and requires a very distinct impartiality in terms of the running of the Senate and the conduct of the Senate, as well as the behaviors that are going to be expected in treating with the members of the Senate. And I think what he did was not just, for me, it was not surprising. I think it was required, but it was also a clear understanding of his role and responsibilities. And it is also aligned to someone who has extensive experience serving as one of the longest serving senator in our country's history. So
Indeed.
that is very much something that he's gained further respect from me for. And I'm very happy that he said it, because it needed to be said, and no better person to say it, or there's nobody else to have said it except him.
Well, interesting. I'm seeing UNCPRO Mayhew says he's not backing down. He says he got the right to freedom of political expression, and he stands by his words. I mean, that's a circular argument and a back and forth, but indeed the Senate President said what he said, and I hope that they are guided going forward. I want to ask you...
Well, you see, you have to understand, with regard to that response, unfortunately, is one that does not, is not one that, I think some persons are still trying to come to terms that they are no longer in opposition, but they are actually in government. And regardless of whether or not you have a political duty, the party that you represent and for which you are the spokesperson holds the reins of power and is in government. And as such, you also have to understand and respect the levels of governance as well as the offices that come with holding the levels of government, and that there's a way in which you do things. And I don't think that intimidation or an attack on or trying to define independent senators by calling them presidential
he says
them any other name.
Well, he says analysis and criticism is not intimidation. And these are his words, huh?
That is not, but yes, but you see, there's a different. I mean, I do analysis and I do discussions and we have conversations, but at no point in time can the media even carry that I have intimidated anyone or threatened anyone per se. Analysis is very different to what you say and how you say it. And I think yesterday...
So you think there's a communication problem? You think there's a communication problem with the government?
It was also... It's not only a communication problem, it's a realization and an understanding of roles and responsibilities that transcends now from one particular... it transitions from an opposition party into a party that holds power. And I don't think that this is the first time Dr. Mayhew is in this role as the PRO of a governing party. It's the first time he is experiencing this, and therefore one cannot be ignorant of what needs to be the alignment of being in government, and what that means, and how one carries oneself.
And in a sense, they jumped the gun before the vote, because here it is. The actual independent senators who were criticized actually, well, I mean, there was some flip-flopping. There were some who went between yes and no. But we had 5 who said yes and 4 who abstained. And because of that, it went in the direction of the government's position on this amendment of the pension bill.
But that is what I think most of my colleagues and anybody who understands the operations of the Senate and operations of the Senate bench, the different Senate benches, they know that, one, there's no caucusing of the Senate bench. And senators are on the independent bench has the independence of mind, thought to agree and disagree with each other, which we saw yesterday. We saw several. There were 5 senators. And the funny part about it is the 5 senators that voted in favor of the government also had concerns about aspects of the bill. And even with having concerns about aspects of the bill, they took the oath. When the vote was taken, they voted in favor of the motion, of the bill. And that goes to say that you can't take a brush and paint all 9 senators in one go, because you don't know what people are thinking, and you can't preempt people's thinking. And people who are entitled to ask questions where there are concerns, and the government and those in authority has a responsibility to communicate effectively. In fact, Senator Vieira also said that if it is that the government required the support of the independent bench, it was simple. They simply had to come to the parliament and put forward very compelling arguments. And listening to government senators speak, in particular those that Senator Alaha, the Attorney General, Senator Minister Swarat Singh, I mean, there is a concern. I mean, I came here to tell you the very same thing, that I agreed in principle with what the bill sought to correct. And there's a reason why the vast majority of the country feels a particular way and so passionately about the bill, because it is the circumstances that led to the circumstances and the timelines that led us to this point in our history that has caused this bill to be relevant.
And it's a unique situation. There's no benchmark, there's no prior scenario like it. And Dr. Rampasad, I put forward the same question to her yesterday, and I'll ask you. Yes, indeed, in principle, I think I'm also spot on with what the direction that the government they're going with this, because in all fairness, when we consider other jobs within the public service, and there's a particular requirement in terms of service and tenure before benefits are forthcoming. I mean, I could understand if that's the gold standard. But there are those who also see this as political vindictiveness and wickedness, the fact that they're trying to do this retroactively.
Well, the thing about it is, I did look at the argument with regard to retroactivity, and it is the circumstances. And I think that's what the part of the conversation that was not, that we missed, that did not happen. And therefore, let's go back to it. And one of the senators on the independent bench raised the name Liz Truss, and that she served for 42 days as Prime Minister, the shortest serving Prime Minister in Britain. In fact, I am waiting to see whether or not she remains the shortest serving or whether it's Young. Not for comical reasons, but for historical purposes, right? When Liz Truss ascended the prime ministership of the United Kingdom, she got there because she said that she could have done the job and quell the issues and the economic problems that they were facing. And she quickly, her party voted her in. But as quickly as they voted her in, her prime ministership, her tenure started very much on controversy. And there was a lot of miscommunication. There was a lot of economic issues and there were also issues as it pertained to Brexit and whatnot, that she believed that, and she made the case to her party that she could solve, gotten into the office and realized when she got there that she wasn't capable of fulfilling the job. And therefore, she tendered her resignation as Prime Minister, and it led to the elevation of a new Prime Minister. Now, in Trinidad and Tobago, the issue was, well, let's flip back. Let's go back to Liz Truss. The British population did not believe that Liz Truss somehow was not fit for the job. I don't think there's an argument that is questioned her ability to do the job. What they were disappointed in is that she spoke big, and then when the time came for her to execute, she could not. She did not have the capacity to execute. Time was running out on her. She was making errors. The different story in Trinidad and Tobago is that between 2015 and 2025, Stuart Young had a lot of opportunities as an understudy, as a wingman, as a mentee of Prime Minister Rowley, to learn the do's and don'ts of leadership, the hows and the whys, the whens, and he seemed to have not gotten a grasp of it. And that I stand by my position that Keith Rowley sheltered Stuart Young to the point where Stuart Young did not live a life as a minister where he understood proper service to people. He did not. I mean, the statement about the grocery, the price of groceries. So where were you for all these years that you were a minister? It means, therefore, that you were not connected to the ground. You were a member of parliament, but I don't know how much of your duties and responsibilities as member of parliament for your constituency did you fulfill. You were all caught up. And a lot of people, not just Stuart Young, but a lot of people, and that's a caution to current MPs and current ministers of government, don't get caught up in the grandeur of office and the title of minister, because you also have a constituency to serve. So that one level, the first opportunity for you to understand and relate to people and the realities of the ground is through your constituency. Well, understanding.
Dr. Mohammed, I'll tell you, in all fairness, and I hold no brief for Stuart Young, but in all fairness, based on just the Instagram and looking at his feed, I look at all the politicians in the feed. I must say, I used to see him on the ground, in the community, walking through as to whether this translated into actual projects being finalized. I don't know, but the visibility was there. I think also people had an issue with how we got to the front of the class with people who would have been there for so many years.
And that's what I'm getting to. Is so had he been more effective by not just showing, as you rightfully say, we don't know whether he was effective on the ground. We know that he was present, but we don't know if he was effective. And therefore, somewhere along the line, Stuart Young developed a reputation of being a disconnected minister by what he said, by virtue of maybe what he said, how he said it, how he addressed persons, and he was gradually getting elevated to the role. Okay, he got to the role of prime minister, but here's the kick behind it. You got the prime minister, and your virtue of serving as prime minister for the 5/6 weeks that you served as prime minister was really to effect an election. An election that you did not have a conversation with the people of Trinidad and Tobago that said to them that having attained the prime ministership, I am going out there to seek a fresh mandate to the mandate, the seeking a fresh mandate, the dialogue as to how you decided to call a general election was never discussed. It was never explained. It seems as though the narrative remains, and stand to be corrected, that he got the notion is that you got the prime ministership today, the next day, you call the election, and then you served and you served for the 6 weeks until you lost, your party lost, and you are entitled to a pension. And that, in the eyes of the country, is unfair.
Just for general knowledge, let me ask you something really quick here, because I was trying to figure this one out, because I really don't know. Is it that the current Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, is receiving, well, of course she will get her prime ministerial salary, and that's increased with the recommendation, so that's a nice take home. But is it that she will receive the prime ministerial salary and her pension, because she was also...
No, that's been corrected in the media. That's been very much correct. So here's how it works.
Tell me how it works.
She got the prime ministerial salary from 2010 to 2015. Mm-hmm. By the time 2015 came around, she was entitled to a member of parliament salary and a ministerial. Sorry, she was entitled to a ministerial and a member of parliament. Well, a ministerial pension. Yeah. Right? She became pensionable, so she collected So by the time she left office in 2015, she was eligible for the prime ministerial pension. So what she was collecting when she lost the election in 2015, so from the period 2015 to 2025, the current prime minister was receiving prime ministerial pension and the salary as opposition leader. The day she became prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago, again, the pensions all stopped, and she started receiving the salary of prime minister. And when that prime ministership comes to an end, she will again return to receiving a pension.
Thanks for the clarity.
So when you are in the active role, you are not receiving any pensions. You are just receiving your
Thanks for
salaries.
that. Because there were lots, again, even though you said it would have been in the public domain, I'm sure many, including myself, would have missed that particular correspondence. So I'm glad that we're able to clear the air this morning. I want you to stay with me, Dr. Mohammed. I want to take a quick pause.
Yeah.
I want to come back. I want us to analyze the visit of the Indian Prime Minister Modi, who will be coming to the show soon, and the impact of such, he's a massive leader on the world stage, and that particular visit and the benefits from such a visit to Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, some other developments on the local political landscape. Stick around.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallen Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Looking for a supermarket that has it all? Welcome to Food Shopper Supermarket, where big really means big. Enjoy secure parking, spacious aisles, and a spotless modern store that makes shopping a breeze. From fresh produce to everyday essentials, you'll find unbeatable prices and friendly staff who are happy to help. We offer a safe and secure gated compound with a large parking facility for your shopping needs. Number 121 Eastern Main Road, Ariba, Clear Chai Trading Compound, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Food Shopper Supermarket. Every day, low prices.
Don't forget our grand celebration, June 28th. Bring the whole family.
Dr. Shane Mohammed is with me on the Zoom line as we continue discussions via the political landscape, local, and of course with this visit of Prime Minister Modi, we could safely say this is one that I guess, our international partner and the region and all those looking on, I would imagine the findings and whatever they agree on, the bilateral arrangements, let's see if that could bring some much needed benefit to Trinidad and Tobago. Your perspective, Dr. Mohammed, on that visit by Prime Minister Modi?
I think it's very powerful, Jason. I think it's one of the most powerful visits to this country. He reminds me of the 1996 visit of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, former Prime Minister of India, having visited Trinidad and Tobago back then. So this is, as my recollection, this is the second Indian Prime Minister to come to Trinidad and Tobago. And history shows that with that visit comes a lot of prosperity and opportunity for Trinidad and Tobago. I also believe that it is aligned directly with the Prime Minister's vision that she is going to provide and use the opportunity as Prime Minister at this time around to thrust Trinidad and Tobago further into the global village as far as possible, where there's opportunity for economic development, growth, and prosperity. So I see that, Prime Minister Modi, on his way to this side of the world, accepting the invitation to come to Trinidad and Tobago to discuss matters. The list was very long: education, ICT, health. Those are very important areas of study and areas of governance. India is a powerhouse in the world, especially in South India, in the area in Bangalore. They're huge with ICT development. India is also the AstraZeneca. Let's not forget, when the world was reeling from COVID-19, it was India that developed the first vaccine in the fastest possible way, and was able to distribute the AstraZeneca vaccine across the globe, even while it struggled to save its own people. I think the world has missed the narrative that India actually contributed to saving mankind through AstraZeneca and that vaccine, because it's one of the few vaccines that really and truly not many people had a terrible side effect. Some people are saying that they did. Some people are saying no, they didn't. But the breakthroughs in healthcare, the breakthroughs in education, the breakthroughs in science and technology in India is what is causing its economy to be such a prosperous one. And the influence of the Indian Prime Minister on a country as small as Trinidad and Tobago can be quite fruitful and prosperous with proper dialogue, with regard to arrangements and assistance. Even in industry and industrialization, agriculture, there's a lot of potential for a visit of this kind.
I look forward to whatever bilateral arrangements and agreements, come forward with this visit. I want to bring it back home for a moment, and again, that's Prime Minister Moody. The man governs 1 billion people. Huh? So I mean, this man is a. When we're talking top world leaders at this point in time, he's right up there with the likes of Trump and Putin and all these leaders on the global stage. He's one.
I believe he's one of the most influential.
Definitely.
He is one of the most influential leaders in the world. And
as we speak.
He governs the largest democracy in the world as well.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I want to bring it back home because, again, democracy, the nation, Trinidad and Tobago, made that decision. They gave the new government a mandate on the 28th of April. And with that mandate, you're seeing lots of restructuring. We know the normal political culture where a new government comes in and they will speak of all the ills and the misspending of the previous administration. And with that, I'm seeing the CPEP scenario and the restructuring that is about to take place. And with that, people are being sent home. But I was making the comment this morning that with the restructuring, I hope the government are very strategic with the personnel they decide to give these contracts or new contracts to, because it could set up the space for intimidation and people within a community, as we know. I mean, our head's not in the sand, Dr. Mohammed. We know the thing that's going in Trinidad. No. People give contracts to leverage votes and it's almost a payback for support on the ground.
Yes,
there are certain people in certain areas. If I come to do a contract in your area, Dr. Mohammed, and I'm not from your area, yourself and others in the area could run me and my team. And it could end up causing real bacchanal, as we know. We're talking in local parlance at this point in time.
It's true.
It could cause serious concerns on the ground. So your take on the CPEP scenario and how can the government strike that balance and keep an order with this restructuring process?
I stand by what I say. I stand by what I said. In 2019, I believe it is, I said to Nia Gatsby Dolly, as she was then Minister of Culture, on CNC3 platform just on the night of the local government election, that one of the issues that affected one of the major flaws of the former administration was their lack of communication, their inability to effectively communicate and to provide information and to answer questions. And therefore, I think that is one thing that is important, not only for this issue with regard to CPEP, but all matters that are pertinent to the national dialogue and that will continue to maintain the positive ratings and the favorability of the administration. And therefore, the issue of CPEP is not what you do, it is how you do it. It is not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think nobody, including myself, I always thought that CPEP had the potential to be more sustainable and to provide opportunities for unskilled, semi-skilled workers, where they and citizens, where they could have more sustainable jobs and they could be incorporated in a system where we move away from this 10 days and this just simply the purposes of grass cutting and maintenance. While I acknowledge that it is necessary and it is important, I also believe that there's so much more that we can do with a company like CPEP to provide for more sustainable jobs. So, for example, beyond just cutting grass at the side of the road, which has a risk in itself, I think that we could do it. We could utilize CPEP for things like agriculture. We could utilize, especially in agriculture, in fact. And there are more, within the opportunity, create opportunities where persons could be involved in more than just grass cutting, but maintenance of state buildings and that sort of thing. There's an opportunity there. What the government decides to do going forward, rightfully with what you say in terms of the demographics and the politics, the ground politics that is involved in, and the sociological framework by which CPEP was created, is that there needs to be clearly from the reporting and the number of contracts and that has been given for different constituency, they need to strike a balance, and there needs to be equity. There needs to be an understanding exactly what you say, that there's a, and I feel as though maybe, I'm going maybe because I don't know, they've not articulated such, but maybe it may be an attempt to untangle CPEP from any sort of elements of illegalities that has festered over the how many years the CPEP company has existed. But with all that said, understanding the operations, understanding the politics, understanding how it works, I don't agree with the inequity that has existed over the years with regard to constituencies getting more over the other. And therefore, it's left to be seen how we strike that balance across the political divide. The next step is, if it is that there's going to be a repurposing, that repurposing needs to be effectively communicated. And I implore members of government, ministers of government, you didn't get there because of yourselves. You got there because of the leadership of the Prime Minister and the trust and confidence that the people of Trinidad and Tobago had, not necessarily in you as an individual, but they had in the abilities of Kamala Persad-Bissessor to effectively govern the country. And therefore, what you say, how you say it, what you do or don't do, how you do it, is directly linked to the legacy of the Honorable Prime Minister. And don't do her any disservice by allowing yourselves to get caught up in hubris and the grandeur of office, because she has made it very clear to us that she's on a, whether by direct words or indirect words, she's on a track for legacy. And one of her legacies should not be what the narrative is currently, that there are 10,000 people on the Bright Line. And that gap in communication needs to be closed very quickly with a proposed solution that is effective to governance.
Well, Dr. Mohammed, as always, sincere thanks. We had some time to really dig into some of the issues this morning, and let's keep in touch. Let's see how things pan out in the weeks ahead.
For sure.
All the best.
For sure. You too.
Right. That's right. Great discussion inside this first hour. Today is the 1st of July. Always July already. You know, you can believe that. Today it's July. July starts, and you know, July is going to sprint away. Then August is here, and then back to school come September, and more or less the year is done. So let's keep the ball rolling. We take the pause. We come back with some of our in-house announcements, ways to contact us, and we'll give you a little flavor of the weather with Jamark. That's coming up. See you soon.
Be the architect of your dream home at Richmond Park, Columbia. Choose your land and create the home you desire. Lots start from 5,000 square feet and homes from 1,700 square feet. First 7 lucky buyers get $50,000 off your purchase. Use up to $25,000 towards your down payment. Richmond Park, where home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Prices range from 1.8 to 2.4 million. Madras Main Road, Columbia. Call 355-7703.
So I hear Beta Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Shaker style, modern Euro, and hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you gonna do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time's alive! Oh, a spice rack.
Soft closed door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well. It's hot.
So, what do you think?
Well, this 100%.
Is it.
I'll take it. Build the kitchen you love for less at Beta Homes, Caroni or French Street.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Who is David Rothschild? It's a tough question. Spanning 20 years, my adventures have taken me on expeditions across the polar ice, through deserts and rainforests, and I've even crossed the Pacific in a boat made of recycled plastic bottles. But to me, being an explorer is looking through the lens of curiosity rather than conquering nature.
These are the modern explorers.
Welcome back. Before we head to the 7 a.m. news update, let's remind you of ways you can contact the team. Of course, by all means, tmb@cnc3.co.tt. A short email, Makisha and Angelo, the team, they'll open up and we'll let you know once there's space. And I look forward to seeing you on the couch or via the Zoom link. You're welcome. Let's head now to the social media handles. Instagram, Facebook, and X. That's where I get lots of the updates, especially via our Instagram feed. As a matter of fact, we put all the Get Something and Pave segments up there, also on the Facebook. So go in and have a time and stay on top of all these stories. You could also do that via the CNC3 mobile app. Must have on your smartphone. We say get it today. Your #1 source for verified breaking news and all your favorite content there on demand. That's right. And The Guardian. Well, it's 107 years. This year we'll make it 108. Not too sure what the grand celebration is, but we will celebrate every year going forward. 108 years in any business. It's a milestone. That's a feat of epic proportions. Well done, Guardian. And we continue to bring you coverage every single day. Visit guardian.co.tt for your subscription. Our food for thought for today, Tuesday, the 1st of July. God is still writing your story. Quit trying to steal the pen. Trust the author. Again, let me read this. God is still writing your story. Quit trying to steal the pen. Trust the author. I've always said that. Every day, we turn a page. Ever so often, we turn a chapter. But once you're still turning that page and the book is still open, there is still potential for greatness. It means you're above ground, you're alive. When the book is closed, that's the end of the story. And thank God, our book, my book, your book, our book, it's still very much open. And our story is still being written. Let's see what's happening via the weather report. We head across to our weather anchor, Jamark, with the latest. Jamark, good morning.
Good morning. In today's weather wrap, we first head over to beautiful Hawaii, where Mount Kilauea erupted yet again on Sunday. Officials say that lava is pouring from the north vent, and this latest eruption has occurred within a closed area of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. This is the 27th eruption since last December, as most of the eruptions last a day or less, and there have been some pauses in Kilauea's activity that have lasted several days. Now we're 1 month into the hurricane season, but the National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration, or NOAA, will stop providing some meteorological satellite data by the end of July. The agency announced the month-long delay Monday morning. NOAA says the move to cut off the flow of crucial data involves a defense satellite program. It provides the military with crucial environmental information for operations around the world. Now, the tool has been used to help meteorologists monitor and forecast hurricanes. NOAA's internal notice states it is ending DMSP data ingestion due to recent service changes. The decision, initiated by the U.S. Defense Department, caused an uproar amongst meteorologists, public officials, and the media in the midst of hurricane season. The fear is that the missing information could degrade the accuracy of hurricane forecasts coming out of the United States. Now let's take a look at our local forecast. Today we can expect mostly sunny, hazy, and breezy conditions with just a very low chance of a brief shower. The Saharan dust is present again today, but gradually decreasing as the week progresses. The next tropical wave is expected on Thursday, but moisture associated with it is expected to span between Wednesday and Friday. So we should see an increase in showers from early tomorrow. That's all for today's weather wrap. Back to you.
Jamark, sincere thanks as always. Let's head across to the 7 a.m. news update, and we come back, open forum, a chance for you to get in and give your perspective right here on the Morning Brew. See you soon.
The L in hair, skin, wellness, beauty, and beyond. Exposition is here. Our wellness providers will be on site to offer free consultations. Our fitness providers are all geared up to kickstart your wellness and fitness journey. Our travel agents are giving away free hotel stays to Grenada and beyond. Join us at the Center of Excellence on July 5th and 6th at the Bougainvillea Hall, where everything comes to life. Tickets are only $100. Let's elevate your image, your event, and your lifestyle. We can't wait to see you there.
Looking for a supermarket that has it all? Welcome to Food Shopper Supermarket, where big really means big. Enjoy secure parking, spacious aisles, and a spotless modern store that makes shopping a breeze. From fresh produce to everyday essentials, you'll find unbeatable prices and friendly staff who are happy to help. We offer a safe and secure gated compound with a large parking facility for your shopping needs. Number 121 Eastern Main Road, Ariba, Clear Chai Trading Compound, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Food Shopper Supermarket. Every day, low prices.
Don't forget our grand celebration, June 28th. Bring the whole family.
This is Mary. Mary has bills to pay and takes a chance parking in front of the building at the no parking sign. Mary returns to her car, and this is what happens. Mary decides to call when she's 5 minutes away to let her daughter know that she is close by. But Mary forgot one thing.
Second ticket for the day. I don't know, no? I really don't know. Well, I tell you.
After 2 tickets, Mary just isn't paying attention to her speed.
You see a fixed penalty noted, fixing speed by 15 kilometers. You have 30 years to pay, 15 years to contest.
It has short other people. Look at other people passing. All they ain't seen them. All they seen me, right? All they too wicked.
Don't be like Mary. Obey the laws of the road. A message from the TTPS.
Whoever gets this one answer will win the game. Good luck to both of you. We asked 100 married women, name a place your husband goes where he'd better not act like he's single.
The bar.
Don't miss Family Feud. New episodes weekdays from 6:30 p.m. Marathon repeat weekly at 8:30 a.m. Saturdays at 8:45 a.m. and Sunday at 9 a.m. Only on CNC3.
Good morning. I'm Doris Polo with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Analysts are backing government concerns about the role of independent senators, all of whom are appointed by the president. But Professor Hamid Ghani says while criticism of past votes is fair game, any attempt to intimidate senators over future decisions is unacceptable, and he supports the Senate president's ruling on the matter. Still, Professor Ghani is raising serious concerns over the independent bench after 8 of 9 senators changed their votes on the repeal of the TTRA bill, switching positions in under 10 minutes. He calls the vote flip-flop unprecedented and deeply troubling.
So I'm still grappling, trying to understand how you could move from abstain to no, or how you could even move worse yet from yes to no. And one person moved from yes to abstain. Only one of those senators remained consistent, from abstain to abstain. All the rest gave different votes to what they gave in committee 7 minutes before.
Several former CPEP workers are afraid of losing their homes and ability to feed their families. The workers went to the company's headquarters in St. Madeleine yesterday seeking answers, but left disappointed and afraid for their future. Government terminated CPEP contracts on Friday, and the opposition claims over 10,000 people are affected.
Because I have my bills to pay, I have my insurance to pay. I'm only doing this to people right about now. School closing, and this is the time I'll do this. I gotta buy books, and now is not the time to be doing this.
The investigator in the inquiry into DCP Suzette Martin says, contrary to media reports, no file pertaining to the matter has gone missing. ACP Kurt Simon says the investigation is proceeding as planned, as he maintained that no request was made by Martin on the matter. But with the probe underway, questions remain unanswered over whether Martin will be suspended.
So all I will be able to tell you is that at this point in time, Ms. Martin is on active duty, and that the Police Service Commission is the persons or the entity or the organization that you should be directing those questions to. So thank you so much.
Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
Welcome back. Let's get into our calls this morning, 624-8721 and 627-8658. We head to Faizo. Good morning, Faizo.
Jason, morning.
Morning.
Today, brother?
Yes, my brother. I'm listening.
Okay, I was very impressed by the presentation of Mr. John Jeremy yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a compelling presentation with not much wiggling room for the opposition or the independents. I said he really presented a very good case on behalf of the government. I commend him for that. The other thing, Jason, the CPEP workers, I'm very, very concerned about the tenure of employment. Now, I also very concerned with the level of corruption that was highlighted. So something has to be done. But what surprises me that rather than make representation to the government by some organization from the CPEP board, I'm very surprised, Employers Association or whatever you want to call them, union, I am surprised that they didn't approach the government in a very organized way to hold a consultation. But when to the opposition, I don't think the opposition will be able to help them resolve this problem very quickly, as opposed to if they went to the government and had a conversation, Jason. Are you there with me?
Here with you, man. Loud and clear. I'm hearing you.
So, I am thinking that, they should organize themselves into some group or some association where they would be able to make proper representation. It's not just noise. What it does to me, it alerts me to the level of intimacy that they had with the political directorate with respect to elections and everything coming on the road, so much so that they feel the opposition owes them. You follow what I'm saying, Jason?
Of course, man, Faizo. Loud and clear,
so
man.
I am thinking they need to get themselves organized with respect to the independent benches. I must say, for most part, I respect some of them. Some of them are very new. When you're new to the job, you might have little teething problems. But we have experienced people like Anthony Vera, and I remember very clearly Helen Drapey. I don't think they're so independent, my brother.
All right, Faizo.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
All the best. All the best. I mean, listen, I've never, I can't recall, probably you could remind me, but I can't recall within recent time anybody attacking the independent bench. I find that to be out of timing, as we say in local parlance, man. Come on. Let's head to Santa Cruz. Good morning. Santa Cruz? Good morning, Santa Cruz.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
This is Mr. Santa Cruz calling this morning, Jason.
Go right ahead.
And my concern, and should be the concern of, it should be the concern of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, when an individual of the UNC, call himself, I think, Mehu, Mahu, Mango, whatever, could threaten the independent senators in terms of their vote. That is a serious concern that people are supposed to have in terms of intimidating intimidating the independent senators to vote a particular way. I think that should be a concern for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because if that is where we reach in this country, well, God help us. The other situation is the whole question of the CPEP workers. I think the PNM MPs must stop playing games with the CPEP workers, because they know too well, like the UNC, that the CPEP workers are part of a political economy that make them come like football where they kick from left to right. They have to support whatever side they're on at the particular time in order to keep their job. If it is that the PNM MPs had concern about the CPEP workers, they would have made it a statutory authority so that the CPEP workers never had a job. What they had was in a social program, or what we call the political economy, whereby if they don't attend rallies and different things like that, they end up being sent home. That is the honest truth. And the time has come when we must speak the truth and don't pretend that, hey, we want to fight for the worker. Because if you give the worker a job, then the worker would not have been in the situation that the worker in. So that, you see, all this mama guy about put on your boots and that kind of thing, let us stop playing games and be honest and tell the worker they never had a job. This is Mr. Santa Cruz signing off with honesty, integrity, and with truth. Thank you.
You're welcome, Santa Cruz. You know, I'm thinking that we must give folks a chance to have their independent thought. It can't be that we question the motives of the independent senators. It can't be that anyone who criticizes or puts any kind of opposition towards the current administration, all of a sudden you are deemed or perceived as an enemy of the state. We have to be very careful. It's still early days, and this administration, they got a long way to go, and they need to be, as Dr. Shane Mohammed would have mentioned, be very careful with their style and their method of communication. Let's head to Tunapuna this morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
I'm hearing
Tunapuna.
all of this about corruption, and that the workers. Hello?
Yes, go right ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, that the workers, that the contractors were PNM contractors. So anybody could just come and claim corruption, and everybody accepts that. Where is the proof? List the 300 or how many ever contractors, and let us see who they really are. How can we just assume that because somebody says it was corruption, that it's corruption, and everybody running away with that story?
No, well, Tunapuna, I want you to listen and stay with me. In all fairness, in the parliament, you're seeing the likes of Minister Padarat actually bringing hard evidence and showing where there are they're connecting certain lines with people who would have received contracts and folks who were campaign manager. All I'm suggesting is, after it's all said and done, and if there is hard facts, and we would have seen it also with PNM when they were in power, showing lines of business between then UNC ministers who were then in opposition. All this is just theater. If there is corruption and hard evidence, charge somebody and let somebody sit down and pay the consequences.
There was corruption in the previous UNC government as well, and most of those contractors were retained from that time. So how all of a sudden is corruption now? It wasn't corruption then. Thank you.
All the best to Napuna. That's all I'm saying. We hear all the time, back and forth, corruption and this one do that and who thief, but everybody outside knocking glass and going all inclusive and having a time. And people who snatch a purse in tongue, people who steal. Listen, Diego Martin, I want to say this quick before you come in. I've always said, those who rob with the pen, sometimes worse than those who rob with the gun, because the pen moving and shifting way more than the gun could ever shift and move. But it's the gunman who does have to sit down. And those who rob with the pen, well, needless to say, they're laughing all the way to the bank. Diego Martin, good morning.
Morning, Jason.
Go right ahead.
Two issues quickly. One, the road conditions. It is appalling to see that every time WASA go and dig up the road, those roads remain unrepaired and unattended for the next 10 years. Why can't there be a collaboration when WASA go and repair a road that there's some communication or coordination between the respective ministry or program within WASA to go and repair the same road. There are 2 cones on Mount Coco Road for the last, must be 6 months, 2 cones, right, in the vicinity of, I think, Hibiscus Drive around there. Right?
Give me a landmark now so that we could come and highlight it, because, you know,
yeah,
we do...
2 cones, right, on the Mount Coco Road. I mean, you know, and that is just a little example. Mount Coco Road, they're heading in from Don's Bar.
Right. Yes, to get into Valley.
Into they go Martin on the right-hand side.
Valley, okay,
after you pass the Don's Roti Shop down Mount Coco Road.
Okay.
Right? 2 cones. I can't remember the street. I mean, just blocking a hole in the road, right? I mean, and Jason, I don't want to focus too much on those 2 cones, but just generally, right, on the Carnage main road, right? I mean, and you know, you have to be touching, and the roads are filled with just dirt.
Right by Titi Post,
so there's no coordination. I remember you highlighting a hole on Independence Square on Abercrombie Street where there were fishes in by Republic Bank there, the corner of Abercrombie, I think it is.
A whole school of fish, yeah.
Yeah,
fish
right.
in the middle of town, you know.
To date, I think that still remains. That.
Yeah, but Digo, I took a note. Right, so Mount Coco, you see, I'm not familiar with. I mean, I know Digo, but that sometimes the roads I could get confused. So I will put it in the Google Maps and find it. Faizabad, final call this morning.
Jason, morning again, my brother.
Faizo.
I don't know if it is that we could probably make an effort to have the Minister of Local Government or Mr. Barry Padarat on the program.
Well, let me tell you, and I say it with no apology. When I called the goodly minister to get some commentary on an issue some weeks ago, the man hung up on me. So I'm not going to call back, to be quite honest.
Well, no, I want to champion that because that is wrong. That is wrong.
And the thing is, may hold my straight. Go ahead, Faizo.
Is that we shouldn't beat up on Kurt Mayhew, because I think when we do that, we might be taking away some of his independence. I am thinking that the independent senator...
Hold on, say that again, Faizo. I missed you there. I don't understand what you're saying. You say we should not beat up on him because what?
That we are beating up on Kurt Mayhew, yes? Yeah, you have a lot of criticisms coming his way and suggestions as well, which might be helpful, but we have to be careful that we don't tamper with his independence and his ability to speak. Yes? So
you see, this is the same Kirk Mayhew, Faizo, and I sit on the program and I'm always honest and straightforward and I speak frank with the nation and yourself, Faizo.
Yeah.
This is the same Kirk Mayhew who put an embargo on myself, on me, that at UNC, you notice, I will always call for UNC people to come on the program, and it's very few would come on, but now they have no choice because they are ministers, and they'll have to come on. But that Kirk Mayhew, I want you to understand that something is not adding up.
All right.
With that individual, to be quite honest.
So you have more information and experiences than I do with him. Yes? But as an outside, I could look at it and say we need to be careful, because he also has to have a voice. I'm not saying... No, and I agree. And, you know, as much as I might have my particular issue with him, the fact of the matter is that he made a solid point. I'm very fair. He actually said, and I go back, I want you to get your Guardian today on page 7. He said that literally, you know, he got his voice and he got his right to freedom of political expression. He calls himself, he's an analyst of the politics and the Constitution, and he said that's his profession and he stands by his word. Okay, and so the other thing, what I am saying is that if they were to be independent senators, I think they should be able to stand up to things like that and prove the grain of salt. But he jumped the gun because look, the independent senators went in the direction of the government. Yeah, I'm not saying that has happened after the fact. Let me not forget that. Yeah. But so we can't take away from his freedom of speech. Right? Although it might be a critical and it went down bitter with some people, but it comes from all other quarters, Jason. Yeah. You know, so we can't target him. But I think the independent senators should be able to withstand that kind of criticism and do the job they are selected to do. All right. Yeah. Take it.
Is it easy, Faiso? Yeah, so again, you know, lots of games are played out here, and I sit in my seat, and as you know, for those who look at the program through strategic eyes, through fair eyes, you know that I am extremely balanced, and I try to listen. Most importantly, yes, I talk, but there is a beauty and a power in listening, and I listen to all, and I also look at some of the moves and the games that are played behind the scenes, and it's unfortunate. And I think that, you know, anyone who comes on the program, they could tell you utmost respect, and I give them a chance to express themselves, and it's really for you, the public, not so much me. I'm just the medium. It's for you, the public, to decide if what they're saying making sense or if it needs to find a home in the labas. With that being said, let's take the pause. We come back and get into our digipreneur, Karen Rose. He joins us next.
Thunderwal, powering industry, fueling progress. Reliable fuel pumps, meters and nozzles. From dock to deck, marine tools, hoses, PPE and fittings. Hydraulic, automotive and food-grade oils and lubricants. For all your manufacturing needs. Pallet jacks, intrinsically safe tools and more. Browse live stock and prices on our website at www.vanderwalett.com. Visit us today.
Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best mix and market, high quality, yes, it's affordable, spacious and customer friendly. From the farm to the cart to your plate, Southern Food Basket, good food at great prices. Come on home, everybody, don't you wait. Southern Food Basket's the best marketplace for you. Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
Karen Rose, our digipreneur, joins us out there in Thailand, and it's always a joy to bring Karen in. We are touching on a very important talking point. Today's topic, Karen Rose, creating content in an AI-driven world. Karen, good morning, and I want to start off by bringing to you something I saw recently. Lots of complaints online. So we know the popular app, the popular site, Pinterest. I go there a lot to get ideas.
Yeah.
The issue with lots of folks going on Pinterest now is that lots of the images and what they're seeing is not something that someone will curate in their home anymore. It's literally AI-generated content. And yes, it's looking good and you're getting ideas how to do your deco and to do your design, but there are many people who just looking for that human touch. How do we strike that balance, Karen Rose, when it's so easy to just type into the search engine and create whatever comes to mind?
Yeah, no, again, and this is exactly why we are having this discussion today. And you're absolutely right. We're in this world right now where the AI tools are getting better and better. They're more accessible. They're affordable, and a lot of them are downright free as well. and we're just getting pumped full of a lot more of AI-driven content. So the conversation today is definitely on striking that balance. But before I dive into that, I just wanted to just touch on, because I was listening to the program earlier, and there's a lot of things happening with jobs. And I want to remind everybody in TNT that the reason why we have this program every single week, the reason why we have this segment is to expose you to a new way of living, a new way of work. We do not have a shortage of jobs because you're not limited to jobs in Trinidad, right? I am proof of that. You see that every single week. You have people like one of my friends right now that just moved back to Trinidad, Andrea Bernard, who's teaching people how to get teaching jobs around the world. And you can go and find people like that online. We have no shortage of jobs. We just need to start learning and keeping up with the times. And once you can do that, you're not going to be limited to what is available within your community, right? And that's not going to be for everybody. But if a percentage of people start to upskill and start to tap into these new opportunities, it's going to lessen that strain on programs like CPEP and really be for the people that actually need it. So I just wanted to kind of say that out there and chuck in that as we start.
Yeah, well said. Now, again, we find ourselves, you said the tools are becoming even more realistic. Yeah. Because for the life of me, Pinterest, I mean, everyone who is into home decor, home design, any kind of design, you'll go to Pinterest. And I really went on and I'm saying, wow. I mean, it's some of these AI-driven, engines are so up to the time. You can't even differentiate from what's real from what's not real. How do we even tell the difference? And is it almost like folks who are using the AI kind of cheating, Karen Rose?
So the way I see how we have to go about with respects to creating content in this AI-driven world now is that you're going to be on two sides of the spectrum. The AI tools are here with a real purpose, and they solve a lot of problems. So the tools are not going away, right? And I think right now, we're just in that phase where it's so new that everybody is trying it. So we're gonna get that flux, right? And right now, Jason, to be honest, we really just have to ride that wave until collectively we get fed up of seeing so much AI content that we start to filter it out. And then when that happens, what is going to happen is the AI content will still be there, but it's going to get, if you are somebody that has the creativity and imagination to really tell some amazing stories and do some amazing work with AI tools, you are going to succeed. But in this time period, the way to combat all of this AI content, right now we are all feeling the need that we want more human-driven content. We need to have more people that are not just using AI tools to create content, but they're now being a bit more human. They're now picking up the camera. They're sharing more of their stories. They're showcasing, their skill sets, and they're building their brands. If you want to compete in this AI-driven world right now, the way to do that is by being more human and creating more human-like content. Because again, it's a rush right now. It's a gold rush. We have to kind of ride that wave, and as soon as we start to get fed up because everything is AI, eventually we're going to get fed up. The good stuff will remain, because if you're good, you're good. If you're bad, you're bad.
Well, I must say, some of the content is really interesting because you're seeing the content now with the babies that are talking, the babies. So you're seeing baby President Trump, baby Putin, you're seeing animals talking. There's the dog, talking dog. You name it, whatever you can think of at this point in time, you're able to create it, and it's getting lots of views, Karen Rose.
Listen, because you know what? One of my favorites right now, there's two of my favorite AI content that I'm enjoying right now. And one is this vlogging Yeti. It's this Yeti that's living in the jungle. He's just vlogging throughout his day, and I think that's hilarious. And the second thing that's getting a lot of views is people are bringing Bible stories and Bible verses to life with AI.
I saw that. I saw Moses was holding a phone doing a selfie. Yeah. I said, what I see in here, boy? But the church people, don't get me wrong, it's interesting, but then that in itself too could open up a whole different kind of conversation because, literally, whatever you could think of, you're able to create.
But Jason, just before we came on, I was just seeing a story out of Jamaica that this new Jamaican anime just debuted in Japan. For the first time ever, they were able to create their own anime series using AI, and now it's debuting out in Japan.
I think I'm following that series, you know. While you talk, let me see if I find it. I'm following that series. Let me make sure it's the same series. But you go ahead, Karen Rose.
Like I said, right? We're right now, we're in the middle. It's all brand new. These are tools that have just came out. So everybody is playing with it, figuring out, seeing what the capabilities are. So unfortunately, we're going to have to weather the storm because there's going to be a lot of AI content. But again, we're going to get filtered out. It's going to get filtered out, and the good stuff is going to stay. But if you want to start to build your brand right now, now is the best time, because if you can start to put your face on camera and give us more human content, that is going to be the best way to combat the amount and the flood of AI-driven content.
I wonder if it's Sweet Jamaica, because there's one that's speaking to the crime, the scenario, and they had the Prime Minister Holness in a cartoon version. I mean, there's one called Sweet Jamaica. It's really interesting. Like,
I don't remember. I'd have to pull up the article, but there's an anime that they did that came out of Jamaica that they just debuted in the Japan Film Festival. But again, these are the types of opportunities, Jason, that we have never had before that AI is presenting.
So hold on, people are able to monetize these things, Karen Rose?
Of course they can, because it's not just about getting the direct monetization off of the views of the content, because for the social media platforms in the Caribbean, we don't have access to the monetization things outside of YouTube. YouTube allows us to get paid, right? But if you do an amazing job, like with the Jamaican anime series, right? That's debuting in Japan. That's an opportunity for them now to earn money coming out of that market. That's an opportunity for a media house or a graphic house to see these animators and be like, yo, you guys are doing amazing things. Let's bring you on a part of our team. And whether that opens up remote opportunities, because again, it's all digital, so people don't physically have to be there, or it could also present new avenues for people, for our citizens across the Caribbean, to now migrate to some of these places. And now you're going to be in the mix of all of the culture, seeing new things, learning new strategies, being around different creators. Because let me tell you something, the biggest thing that has happened for me since I've moved to Thailand is I have met people from around the world with a variety of skill sets. I met somebody for the first day last week, and we sat down in this coffee shop for 6 hours. He's from LA. He's born in Vietnam, but he lived his entire life in Los Angeles. He's now moving back to Vietnam because his business is manufacturing and supplies. And he moving back because he's like, yo, everybody needs manufacturing and supplies from Asia. And I'm Vietnamese, so why not move back and build my business from there and export back to the US?
Okay.
Right? And these are opportunities that are available for us in the Caribbean. We can do these things too. But go ahead, Jason.
I was going to tell you, I want to put you onto a video. I think it was the first AI-inspired soca video. Stephen Marcel did it for Carnival this year with a song called No Way.
Wow.
The entire video is in AI, and whoever did it got it spot on because the anime is looking like Stephen. And I'm thinking that we might see more of that AI content coming in to our soca industry because, as you know, soca is one of the, well, if not the biggest genre, especially for our artists and the push and the kind of momentum it's able to get. So I look forward. I'll let you have the final say, Karen Rose.
Yeah. And you know what, Jason? And I'm happy to see it because that's going to give opportunities. So right now we're talking about a lot of the jobs that are being lost because of the CPEP restructuring and whatnot. You have tools like ChatGPT for free. You have tools like Google Gemini, Perplexity, Claude for free, right? And again, this is not going to apply for everybody, but a percentage of people can tap into these things. When you can take advantage of the free opportunities that the tools are giving you, you can create opportunities for yourself. We are going to see somebody from one of our underserved communities that are going to create an AI soca video, and we would have never have heard about him before. And that is going to be that person's ticket to blow up, right? That is what that is what this digital age, this digital world that we are in, that's the type of opportunities that are presenting. Now that the tools are affordable and accessible, anybody with a smartphone, you don't even need to have your own Wi-Fi or internet, because you can just go and use one of the free Wi-Fi spots and go learn how to use these tools. But it's going to open up opportunities for people who are willing to just be patient, learn, try these things out, and now you're not going to just rely on programs like CPEP. Leave those for the people that really need it. We need to start tapping into the new opportunities. AI is a great way, but again, in this flood of AI content, right now, if you're building your brand and you're feeling discouraged, be more human online. That is gonna help you combat all the AI-driven content that's being pushed out.
Karen Rose, a sincere thanks again. God spare, we'll get a chance to touch base next week, Tuesday. All the best.
All the best. Take care, Jason, next week.
That's right, Karen Rose, digital nomad. He's working, doing his work on his laptop, but he's out there in Thailand, going across to Cambodia, visiting Vietnam, going to China, just exploring that side of the world and having a time of his life. And he's able to handle his bills and treat with himself in a meaningful way as a digital nomad in this technological age. Totally inspirational. We take the pause, we come back, conversations on cancer. We get you ready for the Luminaria. It's where we remember those we lost to cancer. Full details from Dr. Vasan Basdio after the break.
Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best mix and market, high quality, yes. It's affordable, spacious, and customer friendly. From the farm to the cart to your plate. Southern Food Basket, good food at great prices. Come on home, everybody, don't you wait. Southern Food Basket's the best marketplace for you. Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket.
So I hear Better Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Shaker style, modern Euro, and hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you gonna do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time's alive! Oh, a spice rack.
Soft closed door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well.
It's hot. So, what do you think?
Well, this 100%.
Is it.
I'll take it.
Build the kitchen you love for less at Better Homes, Carney or French Street.
Conversations on cancer on this Tuesday morning. We welcome Dr. Vasan Basdio, director at the TNT Cancer Society, as we get everyone ready for Luminaria. I guess Luminaria, but it's really Luminaria based on correct pronunciation. It's Latin, you said, Dr. Basdio?
Yeah, so Illuminati, and that lumen is the word that is to shine, to bring light, especially in dark moments. And that's a great way to start the conversation this morning of what the ceremony truly is. It's about standing in solidarity. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And I'm seeing the date schedule. It's the 20th of July. It's a Sunday at 4 p.m. and the Hilton Trinidad, the venue. Explain to me, when we enter, what's going to be the experience?
So this is an afternoon to really pause, reflect, and stand together as a community. It's against cancer. It's about celebrating life, whether someone has gone on beyond, whether someone is battling cancer, or whether someone has survived cancer. This is an evening to remember, to love, and to strengthen our resolve to fight back against cancer. So we specifically chose the Hilton in that afternoon setting on a Sunday, 4 p.m., as it comes to that sunset moment where these luminarias will be lit by loved ones in remembrance of those who are either battling, survived, or gone to the great beyond.
Indeed. I want to ask you, as we consider cancer and death, I'm thinking, at least now, because we're having these conversations and we are way more transparent and open, and I'm hoping that the taboo that that surrounds cancer. It's easily going away. What's been your experience? Because I know back in the day, it's only when years after you get to find out that a great-grandmother or a great-grandfather or a grandfather or a grandmother would have died of cancer. It was shrouded in secrecy. We sometimes did not even know the cause of death of a loved one. And sometimes you don't even know your own family medical lineage or what might be within the bloodline because of this sworn to secrecy kind of attitude that many would have had back in the day. Is that changing?
Certainly, Jason, this is still a very taboo topic, cancer, and that's a great way of highlighting that there are still pockets of society where we shy away from facing this battle and fighting this battle head on. And so many patients still come to me, Jason, and they are like, at family events, then they are hearing whispers that granny, grandpa had so-and-so, and they think they had cancer. Nobody really is coming forward. Nobody's really exposing what the true cause of death was. And this is important because, it helps us who are here on this plane still how to navigate, how to better screen. And that's a big part of Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society, which is that health promotion, health education. And a big part of our operations is screening. And we can only better screen if we understand our history, our genetic predispositions to cancer.
Yeah. Tell me about tickets. I see, limited seating. There's a particular capacity. Where does one get tickets, and what's the cost?
Right, so it's reserved seating, it's limited. I'm telling you, if you are interested in this event, please get them early. Tickets cost $350. However, we have group packages. So if you have a group of 8 and you want to reserve a table, those are available at $2,500. You can get your tickets by contacting us at 280-3323, or you can email us at, let me get that correct. The email address is projects@cancer.tt. So the number again is 280-3353, or email us at projects@cancer.tt. Again, this is on Sunday, July 20th at 4 p.m. at the Hilton.
Understood. I know Dr. LeBlanc was here with me. I know it's more or less activation time this July, August. So out of this luminaria, I recognize there's also a cricket coming together. That's a more celebratory kind of endeavor.
Well, look, it's stemmed out of a global initiative known as the Relay for Life initiative, which stemmed out of the Americas, and now it's a global event. And, our chairman, Mr. Robert Dumas, he has taken this initiative really to bring sport into the battle against cancer. And we think that, knowing our culture, cricket is really a great way to bring the community together the word is not really celebratory, but in an environment that promotes positivity and good being and community camaraderie, sharing a shoulder, sharing a light moment with persons, friends, other persons as well who may have gone through or lost someone to cancer.
Yeah, understood. So the major activations coming up, Luminaria, the cricket coming together, and then later on, to end things off, that will be the bubbles later on in the year.
Bubbles for Life, yes, so that's in November. And look, Jason, here we are again, begging, pleading. These efforts, this is a non-profit, non-governmental organization. We're totally charitable, and we really depend on our funds and our fundraisers and kind corporate donations, as well as private citizens coming forward and supporting these events. We are really deeply committed to the cause against fighting cancer, and we do this through, health education campaigns, advocacy, screening, prevention programs, diagnostic testing, and then we follow through with palliative care, the Vitas House Hospice, as well as cancer survivorship, where we have a wonderful group of cancer survivors that we continue to engage and work with.
In terms of the survivors, is it that I know I've seen firsthand where they come out for all these major activations, but let's say someone looking on, they want to get in contact, or is there like a particular forum, is there a particular platform that folks could have one-on-one with these survivors?
So if you want to volunteer your services, that is totally welcome. So, even that's how I got involved with Cancer Society, teaching yoga. And I many years ago, started volunteering some yoga classes free to the cancer survivors. And if someone is interested in either monetary or non-monetary ways of contributing or assisting our cancer survivors, we are more than welcome. And we encourage them to reach out to us at the Cancer Society. You can use that same number, 280-3533, or you can reach us at our head office at 69 Donald Street in Port of Spain. We're available online. You can check us on social media as well too, Facebook and Instagram. And we have a volunteer form, and we'd be happy to engage with anyone willing to assist.
Yeah, and I know plenty of the proceeds go towards some of the services you all bring forward, and much of it is subsidized, especially the testing at the Cancer Society there around the Savannah.
Certainly. Yeah, our mobile unit, Jason, is world class. We go as far as Tobago, and our goal is to go Toco, go down to Cedras, Guaya, as far as Chaguaramas, and reach the corners and center all in Tamana and these places with our mobile unit. But we could only do that with corporate and private citizens contributing towards the cause. We really rely on these funds. So that's why we make these events not just as fundraisers, but meaningful. So this Luminaria ceremony is really a moment to light that bag, light that candle, and set your intention, set some positive intentions out there to your loved ones who are here and not here, and really create an evening of camaraderie, togetherness, solidarity is the word I'd like to use there, to really celebrate. But while we do that, we're also raising funds to this great cause of the Cancer Society.
Yeah, as we look to wrap things up again, just a quick word on what we have coined preventative healthcare, the importance of screening, early detection. I'll give you a chance again to put that message out to the public.
Certainly. Look, Trinidad and Tobago cancer, as the latest cancer registry report is showing, is on the rise. And we certainly have to pick up this as early as possible. Let me reiterate that cancer screening, the idea is to pick it up before you have symptoms. And you see, most of the times, that is when you can actually cure cancer and completely win this battle against cancer. So we encourage everyone out there, regardless of what you think or you don't know about your family history, go out there, get your annual checkup, speak to your physicians, your healthcare professionals, and get screened for cancer. The most common cancer for men would be prostate, would be followed by prostate cancer, colorectal cancer, and lung cancers of the bronchus. That's the second most common. And for women, breast cancer, of course, is number one. Cancer of the uterine cavity, that includes cervical, endometrial cancer. And again, colorectal is in both for men and women, the third most common cancers to be screened for. So Trinidad and Tobago, get active, get a healthy lifestyle. Cancer is a non-communicable disease. So all the things that keep you healthy will also help fight against cancer.
Well said. And as always, Doc, thank you so much for the time, the inspiration. And I know, and I can safely say it's going to be a great success, the Luminaria, the cricket, and later on in November, the Bubbles for Life. Great activations under the umbrella of the Cancer Society. All the best.
Thank you, Jason. Have a good morning.
Same to you. We want to head to San Fernando today, straight up until the 7th. When we come back, full details concerning Son of Man prophecy. Again, South, all Southerners and those within the space, make your way down to Sapero Street. Full details after the break.
The L. Edwin Hair, Skin, Wellness, Beauty, and Beyond Exposition is here. Our wellness providers will be on site to offer free consultations. Our fitness providers are all geared up to kickstart your wellness and fitness journey. Our travel agents are giving away free hotel stays to Grenada and beyond. Join us at the Center of Excellence on July 5th and 6th at the Bougainvillea Hall, where everything comes to life. Tickets are only $100. Let's elevate your image, your event, and your lifestyle. We can't wait to see you there.
is death in the digital age. It's being reimagined. It's also raising some uncomfortable questions like, could you become digitally immortal? As our lives play out online, it's no surprise our deaths will too. So what does death mean in the digital age? To answer that question, now I know it might sound morbid, but in this episode, I'm preparing to die.
My wife has been on my case to buy her a second diamond ring. Subsequently, I have had to go back out there and do some things.
You said that a little bit too slow.
Whoa.
I've been forced to go out there and do some things.
Don't miss Family Feud. New episodes weekdays from 6:30 p.m. Marathon repeat weekly at 8:30 a.m. Saturdays at 8:45 a.m. and Sunday at 9 a.m. Only on CNC3.
Our connection is reliable, credible, and authentic. Thank you for trusting me to bring you the news. It's a privilege to be in your homes and hearts. With every story and every newscast, CNC3 is keeping you informed and inspired. When it comes to news, we are where you are.
Don't miss Uttaran, CNC3's Indian soap. Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. Repeats weekdays at 12:15 p.m. And Marathon Sundays at 11 a.m. Only on CNC3.
Who is David Rothschild? It's a tough question.
Spanning 20 years, my adventures have taken me on expeditions across the polar ice, through deserts and rainforests, and I've even crossed the Pacific in a boat made of recycled plastic bottles. But to me, being an explorer is looking through the lens of curiosity rather than conquering nature.
These are the modern explorers.
Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Grace Family International presents A Son of Man Prophecy. It starts this evening, 5:30, and it goes up until next Monday, the 7th. And all this is going down Sapero Street in San Fernando, so all our friends in the Southland and beyond, we want you to indeed be part of it. We welcome to the program Prophet Francis Ajiman. He's here with us. Great to have you, Prophet.
Thank you.
Ajiman. Indeed, and he is actually from the west coast of Africa, Ghana, and he's here with us on Trinbagonian soil to share the word. Also with us, Minister Kenon Alexis. Minister Alexis, great to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yes.
Blessings, my brothers. This is such a great initiative, obviously, this evening being the first evening. Walk me through, is it going to have different themes going up until next Monday, or explain to me the takeaway. What can we experience for opening night?
You know, when you read the Bible in the book of Ezekiel, that's where you find the phrase, Son of Man, prophesy. So, Son of Man, prophesy is a program to speak the mind of God. You know, in every dispensation, God raised prophet. You know, prophets are the mouthpiece of God. And the dispensation that we are in, we need to hear what God is saying. There's a whole lot happening in this world, happening in Iran, happening in Trinidad, happening in America, happening in Ghana, where originally come from. So we need the mind of God. What is God speaking? And in the book of Ezekiel, God spoke to the man of God to prophesy to individuals, prophesy to groups, prophesy to the nation. So with this Son of Man, conference, we are going to prophesy to the nation what God, is talking about, what God is talking about individuals. So we want to invite each and everyone to come and hear the mind of God, because life is a destination. And for you to get to your destination, you need the mind of God to help you.
Indeed. Minister Alexis, give us a landmark. I know you said it's Superior Street, but for someone who's not familiar and they're looking on and you've piqued their interest, where can we find the location for the gathering?
Okay, thank you. Well, it's on number 49 Superior Street, San Fernando. That's on the corner of Lawrence Street. So if you come from High Street and you come down Superior Street, is the first corner on your left. The first corner on your left, which is Lawrence Street.
Indeed. Yeah. And again, for those looking on, that's the location. Who are some of the other keynote speakers, those who will be giving the word for this endeavor up until next Monday?
Well, the host is our father, Prophet Francis Ajiman, and Prophet Rosha from Ghana will be the guest speaker.
Fantastic. So we have another guest who is going to be here with us.
He's one of the most accurate and prominent prophets in Africa. In Africa, we will call him the seer. There's a difference between a prophet and a seer.
How does it, so I could get a deep understanding, because I stay on top of lots of different current affairs, world affairs, and sometimes you could see a particular pattern when you're looking at world events. But I would imagine this is totally different. Does this come via a vision? Do you analyze the geopolitics of the world and able to make a prediction? How does it come about?
Prophecy is not about prediction. When you come in a place of predicting, that means you are guessing. When it comes to the prophetic, it's about speaking what God tells you. God is your source. For example, right now as I'm sitting here, there's a lot God is speaking to me because God is with me. When I came here, when I entered this place, when I entered the community, the Lord took me to a company and said I should release this word to Trinidad. I saw a company where the angel Lord took me to call like SOLAC system, like SOLAC system. And I saw like the deal was like computing security. And as I entered the company, I went into the managing director office and I saw a man that walked in called Nicholas Das. And I saw people were calling a number, it's like 868-725-5305. I saw that now, people calling that number. And Lord told me that we should pray for that company because there is an electrical issue that will cause a fire outbreak. So this is something not I am guessing, I am speaking the mind of God. I even gave a number. And I said I saw somebody from the managing director office called Nicholas Das. Nicholas comes from San Fernando, but currently I'm seeing him in Port of Spain. I'm seeing even Nicholas connected somebody called Shiva. And Shiva has a cousin in Canada. So when it comes to the prophetic, it's not about predicting. It's about speaking the mind of God.
Indeed, and that's the experience you will embrace later on this evening throughout the remainder of the week, into the weekend, and the grand finale on Monday. Minister Alexis, walk me through attendance. Is it because I know obviously is it that there's a capacity issue, or is it walk in and you'll try to accommodate as many as possible on the evenings?
Well, I would encourage everyone to come early as possible, to get the best seats, because it's going to be packed out. It's going to be rammed to capacity. People have been calling. People have been, they're encouraged to come to hear what the Lord have to say. Amen. There are many that coming for a word. Amen. Because it's through a prophet you can receive direction, so they come to receive direction, they are coming to receive. So, I encourage everyone to come out and come early.
Is there a contact or a place one could call, or somewhere someone can go online to get more details?
Yeah, the number to call is 399-0204.
That's right. That's right. And you're going right into the weekend, into Monday. Is there going to be a song and praise as part of it?
We have ministers coming all the way from this country that will be there to be a blessing. We have about 5 ministers. Joshua will be there. There's a lot of people that is coming, but we want to encourage people that God still speaks to his people. God is still in the business of speaking to his people. So wherever you are, do your best to be there. The man of God, Prophet Roger, the senior man of God, is a man, that has the grace for healing. I was watching the news and I saw you were talking about cancer. If there is anybody battling with the issue of cancer, battling with the issue of stroke, battling with the issue of diabetes, battling with the issue of blindness, whatever that you are battling with, come and see God, because you cannot serve a mighty God and experience a microscopic testimony. The foundation of Christianity is a product of miracles. And God has a word for us. There is a lot God wants us to say concerning the land of, Trinidad. Even the Lord is speaking to me. I told when I entered here, I said, is there any place, is there something called Senate President? And I said, I'm hearing a name like Ward Mark. That person needs to pray, because I cannot speak much about it, but I'm seeing a place like an upper house where there is a whole lot, but I will not speak much about it, but I would advise that person to be in a place of prayer. And also the Lord spoke to me when I came here that there is somebody called Karen Hafban Malcolm. I'm seeing the person who works here, like Karen, like K-A-R-R-I-A, and that's how I spell it, Hafban Malcolm. And I saw this person sitting on a seat, like a managing director seat. There is a glory on his life, and there's a destination God wants to take him to. But he needs to really seek God and pray. So, son of man, prophesy. It's a lot that God is going to use us to say. So wherever you are, do your best today. You are in politics, you are a doctor, you are a farmer, you are a teacher, you are a lawyer. Whatever you are doing, come and believe God for what God is saying.
Yeah, it's going down today, 5:30. I'll let, our brother Minister Alexis have his final say as we work our way to the 8 o'clock hour.
Okay, well, for everyone that's watching right now, I wanted us to know that, it takes a prophet to receive direction. You are not delivered by the hand of a prophet, but by the mouth of a prophet. So it's by a prophet is where you would receive direction, you would receive, amen, your miracle, you receive your breakthrough. So I encourage everyone to come out and to come fellowship with us, amen, and see what the Lord is about to do in your life, amen.
Prophet Ajiman, we have literally some seconds before we wrap things up.
So all I want to say, wherever you are, do your best to find your way. Don't be in a place of excuses. Life is a product of sacrifice. The best location to be is 49 Ciparo Street, San Fernando, corner of Lawrence Street, and the number to call is 3990204. Remember, wherever God is, there is liberty.
Prophet Ajiman, Minister Alexis, thank you for being here this morning and spreading the word. Again, from today straight up until next week, Monday, Ciparo Street, San Fernando, and go and hear for yourself as they bring to you, the word. And I would imagine, most importantly, inspiration and hope. Indeed. Yeah. Let's take we make our exit. God's spare and back for more tomorrow. Thank you so much. It's been an action-packed Tuesday, first day of July 2025. Have a great one, TNT. Be safe.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong. You're watching CNC3.